So today I wanted to talk about a really sensitive and controversial yet overall important topic within anime and manga, and I guess to a certain extent this could relate to life as well, and that is sexual preference in characters, just, overall their sexual orientation, whether they're gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever the case may be, sexual orientation and its acceptance within anime and manga, and how a lot of these characters are written, and overall a big question of, can you accept your main character, your main protagonist, your main villain for that matter, any of those natures, to be a gay character? Now, to start the video off, I definitely gotta say that regardless of a character's sexual orientation, whether gay, straight, bisexual, whatever the case may be, I think nonetheless you should grade a character for the merits of what he accomplished, what he is, and ultimately the enjoyment and everything around him that he brings to the table, not only sexual orientation. So simply because a character is gay, that shouldn't, in your mind, destroy everything else that the character stands for and what he's done and what he's accomplished, and just overall how well written the character may be simply because of sexual orientation. Because I definitely could see a lot of the times where, like, if a character is a certain way, people will feel a certain way about it. Let's just say, a character reveals that he's gay or she's gay or something like that. People look differently, and sometimes they might even lose respect for the character. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of people. Some people just feel that way. Now, for me personally, I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it as a big part of it is definitely comfort zone. Some people just, their comfort zone isn't that wide. We live in a society where it's hard for people to accept things that are different, people that aren't 100% the same and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that carries over into the anime and manga culture and just things of that nature, even literature, stuff like that. So it's definitely something that is reflected from our society into our media. And there are times where, yes, sometimes I will look at it and I'll kind of feel a little bit weirded out, because it's kind of like, mainly when it comes out of nowhere, that's when I mainly feel that way. Like, say, for example, if, and this is just a random example, don't take it serious or anything, but let's just say, like, Zoro started slapping Usopp's ass, things of that nature, just characters acting completely out of character, like Rock Lee, trying to give Shikamaru a sexual, like, kiss or something like that. It would automatically, just come across as like, what the hell? That would be the same thing as, somebody for like 10 years, a decade or something like that, one of your friends, and then all of a sudden you just see them with some big buff dude named Puff making out. You would be a little bit, like, where did this come from? And that's definitely something to do with writing as well. Like, if a character has been written this way the entire time, especially long-running series like a Naruto or One Piece or Bleach, and they just throw a curveball like that, and there was never any hinting or any foreshadowing or anything of that nature of the writing, then it would definitely throw you a curveball and you will feel a little bit uncomfortable. Take example, Hunter x Hunter recently, something with the Chimera Ants, the Royal Guards and whatnot. It definitely came across as somewhat yaoi. You can see that one of the characters slightly is of that nature. It kind of threw me for a loop a little bit in a way, because it just comes out of nowhere, and sometimes it's just like a radical thing. But ultimately, it doesn't make me look at the characters like, oh, these characters are absolute shit, or anything of that nature. It just gives you more of a shock value, if anything, and sometimes it could put you off a little bit again, because that's just the society we live in. Again, people's comfort zones overall can be, I guess, interrupted with things of that nature. But I definitely say you should never, simply because of his character's sexual orientation, look down on the character, or even stop liking the character for that matter. I could name a couple of characters that are some of the greatest characters of all time that have either, some, I guess you would say, gay nature to them, or they're not 100% straight. Take, for example, H0m0s3xuality, one of the villains from Yu Yu Hakusho. He has 7 personalities, and one of the personalities is of a female, but at the end of the day, the guy is still a male. And, if the female took over, he would still be a man. And that female is sort of like, his helper, Shinobu's, I guess you would say, partner or whatnot, is in love with that personality. Now, it was never known if it was reciprocated or not, but nonetheless, even if he has a female personality, which would kind of make him, like, if that female personality is into dudes or whatnot, does that make me look at it like, oh, Shinobu was gay, or, his helper and him were gay, fuck them? Hells no! H0m0s3xuality is one of the greatest villains of all time, and I don't care what his sexual orientation is, whether it's 1/7 gay, or 100% straight, or bisexual, whatever the case may be. That's not going to change anything, his sexual orientation. That's not going to stop him from being an amazing villain. Another villain, probably the greatest villain of all time, if not definitely top 5 of all time of any manga, any anime, Griffith. That character, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors throughout the years, because it's a very ambiguous background with this character, and he has a very ambiguous personality. It's just really hard to pinpoint what he's thinking. His relationship with the other main character, Guts, can, in a certain way, be seen, at the very least from Griffith's point of view, possibly in a romantic light, that he saw Guts. If you look at some of the undertones and whatnot, you could see that there's a possibility that he felt some romantic feelings towards Guts. Does that destroy the character? I mean, the character has even done some things that people would say, oh my gosh, you know, that's crazy. He has sold his body to old men for money, for his, you know, kingdom and for his dream overall. Does that make me look down on the character? Hell's fucking no. I still love the character. I think he's one of the greatest of all time, and that's not going to stop anything. I really think that it's foolish and childish, and you got to take a step back to really realize, for you to absolutely despise or completely change your opinion into a disgusting opinion simply because of a character's sexual orientation. Now, again, if it comes out of nowhere, again, like if, you know, Luffy is just all of a sudden on top of Sanji trying to give him some smooches, I would be like, what the fuck is going on here? This is bullshit. But if a character, regardless, even if he comes out and there's been like some foreshadowing of it or whatnot, then that's what it is. You got to just accept it. We live in a society nowadays, we're in 2014. It would really be petty to change your perspective on somebody simply because of their sexual orientation, whether they're gay or anything of that nature. As long as it's legal and everything, then it really shouldn't fucking matter. And as long as it doesn't disrupt the character's flow and just come out of nowhere on some bullshit, then I personally don't care whether a character is straight, gay, or whatever, as long as he's an amazing character. From my understanding, one of the main characters later on in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure series is a gay character, and I can't wait to see what happens and read the manga and see how that character acts and everything like that. Could it get me out of my comfort zone if he acts a little bit too flamboyant? Maybe, but that's something that I personally have to deal with, and that's not no bearing on the character or whether the character is a piece of shit character or not. That's just a level of comfort zone that I have to deal with. And I think that in 2014, we should really just get over some of these barriers and some of these stereotypes. And overall, I guess this little atmosphere of like, you know, if a character is this way or a person is this way or that way, we should look at them in a different light. At the end of the day, that's still the same person. That's still the same person you loved and cared about, or the same person you treasured, the same character you enjoyed all these years. It's just, that's what they are. Again, it has to fit within the realms of who the character is. If it comes out of nowhere 500 chapters later and all of a sudden, you know, Uryu and Ichigo are making love, get the fuck out of here. Where the hell did this come from? So it's the same thing. Like, say, for example, a character was gay all this time. You know, two characters were just in love, and all of a sudden, 500 chapters later, he's trying to squeeze Nami's tits. What the fuck? You know, so definitely it comes within the range of making sense, but overall, it shouldn't matter whether a main character or a side character is gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual. It's a level of comfort, and just overall, we're in 2014. We should just get over stuff like that. But let me know what you think. I'm really interested in people's perspectives and opinions on this. Again, if I offended anyone, I truly am sorry. That wasn't my intention in any which way. I was mainly just trying to get to a point where I feel I don't care whether my main character is, you know, of any type of sexual orientation. I just care about the character itself and how it's well written and what type of enjoyment it brings to my life. Whether it's, you know, he's a funny guy, he's smart, intelligent, badass, whatever the case may be. And I'm curious about what you guys have to say. Do you feel, let's just say a new manga started and it has a great premise, but chapter 2 you find out that the main character is gay, or the main villain is gay, or the main villain is a bisexual or lesbian, or anything of that nature? Does it change your perspective on the character, and why? Would you literally stop reading a manga or watching an anime if a character, even though it's kind of foreshadowed already, but ultimately it leads up to this character is of a different sexual orientation, or, you know, just a sexual orientation that you feel that you're not comfortable with? Let me know in the comment section below and your overall thoughts of this. Again, this is not trying to start anything of that nature, you know, any drama or anything. I really would like for, if anything comes out of this video, for people to gain a new perspective, and maybe, you know, if you feel a certain way about, you know, different sexual orientations, maybe this could change you. Maybe you could think a little bit differently and learn to accept other people. So this is what happened to this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I really hope you gained anything out of this video, whether it be a new perspective or anything, just, you know, a little bit of enlightenment or just a different pace of mind regarding, you know, just people's different lives and how people live. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.